everybody, what's going on? It's Saturday evening. I just got back from my second tournament of 2020, and you heard me right, it's only my second one for me this year. This was the longest I've gone without fishing a tournament, so I was really excited to get into this one. I knew I was going to be able to pre-fish yesterday, so I was really excited to put some time on the water for this one. So this tournament was on F.J. Sayers Lake. It's pretty much right in the middle of Pennsylvania. It's a pretty decent sized lake for around here, and I knew that it was going to be a really good event. The weather was setting up perfectly, so I was really excited to get out there and see what I could find yesterday in my pre-fishing. But before I pre-fish for any tournament, the first thing that I do is look at maps. I try to identify a few areas where I know that the fish should be this time of year. So let's go ahead and look at some maps and see if we can find some of those spots. So when I'm looking at these maps, there's a few things that I take into consideration, such as the time of year, the water temperature, and other anglers. So let's start with the time of year. It's September, it's starting to cool down, the days are getting shorter, we're moving into the fall. So I find that during this time of year, the fish will stage on any kind of point, main lake point or even a small point that they can find, as they move into the backs of the creeks, which is where they eventually will end up as we get further and further into the fall. So with that in mind, focusing on the upper half of the lake, I found several points. So on the far side, there was a point that came out right above the bridge, over here, and right where I was launching at Lower Greens Run, there was a large point right below that cove and a pretty good point right at the ramp as well. Then across the lake we have a boat dock that comes out. Now underwater this doesn't look like much of a point, but it is still something that the fish will hang out around as they move up the lake. So I wanted to focus on that a little bit too. Then, further up the lake, we have a roadbed that comes down into the lake. And this I consider to be a point as well. So those are the areas that I want to focus on. So when a lot of other people see this map, they're going to be looking at all the stuff that's listed. All of these branches, spider humps, there's rock piles out in the lake as well that are marked on this map, and there's more spider humps and stick-ups back in the actual cove where the ramp is. So most people that look at this map, they're going to be focused on all of this structure and cover that's listed. So I knew that I kind of wanted to stay away from this whole side of the lake. So with that in mind, I have my three areas. This lower point, the boat dock, and the roadbed. So I move over to another map to do a little bit more digging. And on that boat dock, I notice that there's almost maybe a pool of water and a little bit of a trough that runs out into the lake. Now you'll notice that the water is drawn down in this image, which is what I'm looking for, to show me some of that stuff that's underwater. We can also see maybe some rocks or stick-ups located along this bank here that are not marked on the Navionics map. And then if we move down to this point, we can see that there's a tree laying down off the point, which would be completely submerged under full pool. And then there's a few other things out here in the image as well. Now these could just be things floating or a buoy, but it's still something I wanted to check out. And then we have the roadbed. Now on this image there's not much to really see on the roadbed, but we can tell that there are some trees that lay off of the roadbed. So I knew it was still an area that I wanted to focus on. So now that I had 3 spots picked out, let's go ahead and see how my pre-fishing went yesterday. So that last picture there was from the point by the bridge. I ran out of room on my SD cards by that point in the day to get more footage, but I did locate a few nice fish off that point. So all in all, I felt that I had a pretty good plan going into today. So yesterday I caught them on a variety of baits, and I'll go ahead and put them up here for you. So moving to this morning, I wasn't even at my first spot 30 minutes when I hooked up with my first fish on a buzzbait. And that's how pretty much the rest of the morning went. A lot of 9 and 10 inch fish. That's all I could find. I fished all 3 of my spots, and all I could find was 9 and 10 inch fish. Around 9 o'clock, I started kicking around the idea that maybe the fish have already moved from the points to the backs of the creeks. I wasn't finding any big fish. Too many small 9 and 10 inch fish in those areas where I caught the bigger fish yesterday. Now, when I pulled into the ramp this morning, it was 48 degrees. Yesterday morning, it was 59 degrees. The water temperature also dropped a little over a degree because we had a really cold night last night. So I kept telling myself all morning that I should be moving up the lake, all the way to the upper end. I didn't actually make the move to the upper end of the lake until after lunchtime, and it was a little over a 2-mile run for me to get up there. When I got up there, almost right away, I started finding bigger fish on my graph, and I saw another angler in the tournament catch a 19-inch fish. So that told me that the quality was there. I just had to catch them. Unfortunately, I only had a little over an hour to do that, and I was not able to find 3 12-inch fish in that hour to put on the board. So if you stuck around this long, I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe because I will be uploading regular videos starting within the next few weeks here to try to share some of my experiences and some of my knowledge as an angler in hopes that I can help somebody out there enjoy the sport a little bit more. So again, I thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. That's all I have for you until the next video, so tight lines.